All right, 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to continuing coverage from Super Bowl 60 Radio Row with the one and only Dr. Jen Welter, the first ever assistant coach, female assistant coach in NFL history, Hall of Famer, and now in the world of AI. Look at that.
I just like to lead from
Do
the
it all.
front.
You
Yeah.
do. What are you doing with Praxis AI?
Creating a digital twin. And so the way I like to break this down, because some people are like, ooh, why would you do that? I think AI is inevitable. We're seeing it in a lot of things. And so with any change, how are you going to bring that into your life? And Praxis is basically creating a digital vault with my IP that I can train how people can interact with me in a way that I could never be accessible because we all run out of time.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of, whether it be young girls or people aspiring to do things that I've done that have questions that I can train Coach Jen to be able to interact with them in a way that I would,
Yes.
in a way that I never could.
So how do you quality control it so it is truly your thoughts, your voice, the opinions you would give?
Well, so it's being trained with my voice, and that I think is really cool because this voice is infamous. This is hard-earned coach voice, but I do have people that literally are like, I know that voice anyway. So it is trained with my voice, and that part is being done like as we speak, literally.
Yeah.
But also it is with my content. So, like for example, I wrote Play Big and came out in 2017. My book is going to be a part of teaching Coach Jen AI.
The large language model basically incorporates the book, learns
Yes.
about who you are, and turns into your
and
personality.
other things.
Yeah.
Like I can program it with some of the speeches that I've done and other things so that the stories I tell and the way that I would interact with people's stuff, you put in it and then you test it.
Yeah.
Like I have had conversations with Coach Jen AI and I'm like, hey Coach Jen, what do you think about this? And she'll give me an answer and I'm like, actually, maybe we'll answer it that way. And it's interesting because what I found is some of that stuff was like, my book came out in 2017. The way Coach Jen would have answered it in 2017 versus now is different in some things. So I can say, hey, that was a great answer for 2017, but I've learned some things since then. Let's go ahead and answer it this way. And it's so funny because she'll be like, oh, Coach Jen, that's a really good idea. I'm like, duh, it's me.
So you're interacting with all of this now. You've had the experience of coaching at literally the highest level. Where do you think AI is going in coaching, whether it's at an NFL level or a youth sports level?
Wow. I think that's a question we don't know yet, but we can predict, right? Certain things when it comes to a lot of the coaching stuff, right? When I look at it this way, if football is a game of inches, coaching is a game of minutes. People ask me, are those stories about coaches sleeping in their offices true? I'm like, yes, because there is always more tape to watch. There is always more analysis that can be done. How much can we utilize AI to give us minutes back? Because I want minutes back that I can reinvest in my players. That's what I'm looking for. Because if there's more tape to watch, if there's more things to be done, if there's more situations to assess, if AI can automate some of those things so that I can take that knowledge and reinvest it into my players through our human connection, then I think ultimately that's where you kind of can find the sweet spot.
Do you envision a future where Andy Reid has a practice with the Chiefs, and then at night when Pat Mahomes is watching film, he can go to virtual Andy Reid to ask questions about scenarios?
Maybe not that quickly, but what I would say is maybe Andy Reid looks at the situations, he trains it, and then can take you through some of it, sure. Or it's informed by, like, if we could take, because certain things in football are actually would be really good to model in AI, right? Like, let's say every time they're in 12 personnel in this formation, how long do we do this? That process we do as coaches right now, and it takes a really long time, right? It's work heavy. If you could start to give me through lines, I think you'd still have to quality correct it as a coach, but maybe they could come up with some tendencies that you do. And then, yes, I mean, they already use VR in quarterback training. So what if,
Yes,
you know,
we have Jaden Daniels, and he has been at the forefront of using VR for his training.
Right.
Yes.
Well, I don't know about the forefront. We had it at the Cardinals when I was there, so it's been there a while.
Yeah.
But it was really chunky there.
Yes.
Like they were carrying around the little VR model, so it's getting better and better.
Yes.
But let's just say, you know, could you see if maybe Jaden was using was incorrect in his read progression?
Yeah.
Or maybe versus a certain defense, how fast can we adjust to, does that read progression need to be different?
Yeah.
And I think that AI will allow us to get into some of the places where we can increase the efficacy and take out some of the stuff that really is very manual and chunky right now.
Yeah. All right, let me ask you about a couple other topics.
Yeah.
One, women in coaching.
Yes.
You were the first to do it at
Yes.
the NFL level. Where do you see that landscape now for women who want to break into high-level coaching?
I think right now it's still at a point where it's also chunky, right? Like getting past certain landscapes are really hard. I think what's going to really speed up that process is the rise of flag football.
Yeah.
Because these younger girls now, they get to grow up football.
They're going to participate in the game differently than they had in the past.
That's right. And that means, so my dissertation was actually on expertise theory and how do you get that fluidity process? And it's time on turf. And so the girls now that are getting to play at the same ages as the boys and getting to compete for as many years as the boys, their knowledge of the game is going to be so much more fluid. And pair that with the fact that they can look at football and see and dream football in a way that a girl like me never could. I think this generation coming up now is going to be an unstoppable force.
Yeah.
I think until we get to some of that fluidity, though, you're still going to see kind of here and there breakthroughs, but not to what we'll have in a couple of years, which will be exponentially
Yeah,
more.
the league has finally really started to prioritize the sport and their involvement in it. The Olympics are part of this as well. What do you think took so long for the NFL to kind of buy into flag football as a way to connect not just young girls, but young boys too into the sport?
You know, I think that's an interesting question because even when I got into flag early, there were some people on the tackle side that thought I was like a traitor. And I was like, well, I don't really get that because we use 7-on-7 in tackle football practice, right? But I think what we're seeing is an evolution of the love of the game and how do you maybe make it safer at younger ages?
Yes.
While still allowing kids that time on turf and fluidity, right? If I'm learning how to read a defense, I don't need you in pads, right? If I'm learning how to do routes, it doesn't have to end with a tackle, right? We've seen that with Dartmouth. They don't even use pads in practice, right? But we've used 7-on-7 as a methodology for some of that install and play polish for a very long time. Now we're just being intentional about the fact that not only is this a component of tackle football,
Yes.
but it's a sport in and of itself. And I think that's part of what's exciting because when you look at the global landscape, part of the problem with tackle has not been that the sport's cool. We all know it's cool. I love it. I mean, I was a linebacker, so obviously I like the contact. I like the tackle. But it's accessibility. The expense on 11-on-11 football and having pads and helmets and doing all that stuff overseas is not the same as it is here. And when I went and coached in Australia, that's when it became very clear to me, why is soccer a global game? Because all you need is a ball.
That's right.
So how could you get that global grassroots foothold across the planet? And that's in flag, because not everybody has the resources to be able to have pads and a helmet and 53 players on a roster.
That's right. All right, last thing. Who you got, Seattle or New England? Who's going to win the Super Bowl?
I'm not sure. And here's why I say that. There's things I like from both teams. I like the experience and attention to detail and innovation on New England. I think they have a leg up in terms of the experience, but Seattle's really young and hungry. I think they've won on a lot of levels. I think if I'm New England, I'm going to test the hell out of Sam Darnold. I still remember when he thought he was seeing ghosts, and I'm going to play off that all day. If I'm Mike Vrabel, I'm digging up that tape. I'm finding ways to bring flashbacks back, and I'm utilizing that. I'm obsessed with their personnel package groups they've used on the offense. They did a lot of six on the O-line, right? Why can you do that? Why can you, as New England, do that? Do you have an answer for me, or do you want me to give it to you?
I would assume that they want to profile their run game, but go ahead.
Well, you have a quarterback who's a mobile threat.
Yeah.
So when I have a quarterback who's a mobile threat, that means on defense, I'm kind of neutralizing one of those guys, right? So now I've equaled it out by putting a 6 on the run game. But in addition to that, the 6 on the line, we don't personnel match for that. So most defenses, when they personnel match, what do? Running backs and tight ends.
Right.
So we're looking up, I'm like, oh, they're in 12, oh, they're in 22, this, that, and the other. Put in this package, which means if we say do 12 or 22, you've still got one up if you've got another lineman. So that pulls how the defense does, because now they're matched to the personnel grouping, but they're not matched necessarily for that 6th lineman. So now what are you doing with that? Are you playing it like an unbalanced, right? So there's a lot of stuff that they can do with that because of the mobile quarterback and because of the lack of personnel match. So for me, what I want to see is I am a trenches girl. I think that's where the game is won and lost.
Yeah.
How is the D-line going to neutralize that? Because you don't always with an unbalanced set. You're not always going to the heavy side. What are you doing? Oh, do I have a mismatch on the backside? Right? So if they come over here and they go to that extra lineman like an unbalanced, if I have studs over here, maybe a tight end there, I'm going to take advantage of that, and can I spring it? And they have a quarterback who can exploit it. So what I want to see is trench battle, because I don't think, in my opinion, that the O-lines are super strong on either team.
I agree.
That's not where I'm laying my money. And I think both teams have some trench bullies that they can get it done. How they play is distinctly different because the quarterbacks are very different.
Yes.
Right? As New England, what do I need to do? I need to torture Sam Darnold and not let him get outside the pocket. Anytime he moves, I want him stuck. I want those edges hard, and I want to torture him. You want to go out this way? Smack. Right? And I think he starts seeing ghosts. Right? Meanwhile, opposite on the other side of the ball. Right? I want big pressure up front. I want them coming in, and I want them shutting him down. So that if you're going to use him as a runner, he's got to get outside the pocket.
Yes.
So I think it is a chess match. That's what I want to see. I think you're going to see it early. Who really is dominating in the trenches on the line?
So you think coaching is going to win the Super Bowl?
Yeah,
there?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, look, on paper, that's right.
All right. So last thing. So you're basically saying coaching is going to win the Super Bowl.
I think coaching wins the Super Bowl. Now, Seattle, speed, youth. I mean, they're fiery, right? Like they look scary good.
Yes.
That is a blessing and a curse in the Super Bowl. This week is exhausting. That game is exhausting, right? I think if they get out to a lead, they're going to be hard to stop because that momentum could carry them through. The thing that the Patriots have, and I love, like I said, I love how they've been personnel matching. I think the inexperience at quarterback is tough.
Yes.
And I think, again, I love the fire of the Seahawks. The only thing that I would like cautionary tale is Falcons Patriots. Let's go back to that Super Bowl. If you go anything until the end, they won that game.
If they ran the play clock down more in the second half,
right.
the Patriots wouldn't have had enough possessions to win the game.
That's right.
Yeah.
But that's where I say, like, this game isn't just that game.
Yeah.
Right? I need the Seahawks because they're young. Right? It's a young team. I mean, Darnold's been everywhere, but he also doesn't have experience with the big one.
Yeah.
I need the main thing to stay the main thing. I need their minds on the game. I need them not to be in San Francisco right now. I need them not to do interviews. Like, I need you to just be in a black box of keeping all your minds right and not coming out so like I remember people having played, and just as a player, I mean, I won 4 Super Bowls and 2 gold medals. I would see rookies that, like, the day of a championship, they'd be like, and then they get into a game and you're like, are you all right? And they're like, I'm so tired. And I'm like, I know you are, because you were freaking the freak out. I need them to maintain the energy flow to be able to go from start to finish.
That's right.
And knowing that that the Patriots will switch things up. He's notorious for doing things in the dirt, but I do think an inexperienced quarterback is going to struggle a little bit with that defense.
Dr. Jen Welter, thank you so much.
You got it.
Thanks.